It makes a lot of sense if you've never heard of Enso Japanese knives before, but it makes even more sense if you're a little skeptical to see yet again another Japanese knife brand popping up in your YouTube feed. So in this video, I am going to show you 3 different Enso series, the HD, Hizashi, and the SG2. But before I dive in, and yes, you can skip ahead, there'll be chapters below, everything's linked. But before I dive in, I want to give you a little history lesson so you can feel confident about making a decision on whether you're going to acquire 1 or 30 Enso knives. Let's dive in. Let's go back to the 1920s when the Beltrami brothers started their own mobile knife sharpening service. In the 1940s, they opened their first storefront, and then in 1998, cutleryandmore.com became a thing. There you go, over 100 years of family history from the Beltrami name. Now, at the same time, in mid to late 90s into the early 2000s, Japanese knives started to become popular here in the United States. So with all of that family history and the emergence of Japanese knives in the US, the current owner, which would be Michael, decided that he needed to have a little passion project, and that was starting the Enso brand. Now, the family history goes back to the 1920s, but the Enso history actually goes back to the 1930s because Yaxel, which is the manufacturer of the Enso knives, and you can see Yaxel right on the side of all of the blades, they were founded in 1932. So this company that makes these knives goes back to the 1930s. Now, you probably haven't heard of Yaxel either because Yaxel for years, decades, made knives for other brands, kind of like they're doing for us. And they recently started manufacturing and branding their own line under the Yaxel name. So we've got 100 years of family history, almost 100 years of Yaxel history, and Enso was launched in 2015. So today is what? March 30th of 2025, so roughly a decade ago, the Enso brand was launched. So there you have it. Cutlery and More is not going anywhere anytime soon. Enso's not going anywhere anytime soon. And you've got 100-some plus mixed together years of history in the making to bring you these various series of knives. Okay, let's geek out and talk about these knives. I'm going to share 3 of our core series that we have. We have other Enso lines, but these are the 3 that I am dealing with today. First is the Enso HD. This is made with a VG10 stainless steel core with 37 layers of Damascus cladding. The Hizashi has the exact same blade. The difference is going to be in the handles. VG10 stainless steel, 37 layers of Damascus, and a sashimi finish. Both of these have a minimalistic bolster. The HD has a micarta handle that is triple riveted and a stainless steel end cap. And then the Hizashi has a slightly elongated metal bolster going into the blonde Packawood handle. This also has a stainless steel end cap, but with this you're also getting the Enso kanji at the butt of the blade. I'm showing you the 8-inch chef's knives of all 3 of these series, but keep in mind that the blade side profile of all of these is going to be the same. So you can get the bunka in all 3 of these series, and looking at it from just the shape of the blade, they're going to be the same. The Nakiri, the curved boning knife, etc. So just keep that in mind. The HD series is going to have the most amount of knives you can find. Then the SG2, and then the Hizashi. So just keep that in mind. For example, if I pick up the, well, I'm picking it up right now. This would be the HD scalloped sandwich knife. This, I believe you can get in the SG2, but you can't get in the Hizashi. So just keep that in mind. Okay, let's move on to the SG2. The Enso SG2 has an SG2 stainless steel core coming in at a 63 Rockwell compared to the 61 Rockwell of the HD and the Hizashi. We also have 101 layers of stainless steel Damascus cladding compared to 37 layers. Now, the handle is micarta, just like the HD, but you also are going to get red inlays at the bolster as well as at the butt of the knife, a mosaic pin. The bolster and the end cap are also polished, and you're going to get the kanji at the butt end of the end cap as well. So aesthetically, this is different. When it comes to the core SG2, it's going to hold an edge a little bit longer. It's also going to be a little bit harder to sharpen. But where I would say that these knives really separate themselves, especially because we're going from 150 retail to 300, it's double the price. It's not just an increased Rockwell and a little bit better of a steel. The thing with, and also the mosaic panel looks a little flashier. Here's where this knife, specifically the chef's knife, I've noticed it with the Kiritsuke, with the Bunka, the larger blades, even the prep knife, it's the width of the spine. So we're going from 2 millimeters to 2.3. It's minuscule. My brain can't even comprehend how small that actually is. But that slightly wider spine with the hand ground blade, which these are all hand ground and whetstone hand sharpened. This has a little bit different of a geometry. So the sashimi finish helps with food release. It doesn't prevent things from sticking all together, but it does help with food release. Although the SG2 does not have a sashimi finish, the geometry of this just being slightly better helps with food release. There's a flow with this blade that you would probably never know unless you were back-to-back using these knives regularly like I have been. But I'm gonna tell you, I had a hard time when I first started I had a hard time when I first started doing work with Cutlery and More justifying the price increase with these. Like aesthetically, it's like, okay, cool, I get it. It's a little flashier. You get a little bit better of a steel, but is it that much better? Well, after almost a year, actually it's been just over a year since I got each of these knives and using them, yes, it's better. It's worth the price increase. Do you absolutely need it? No. Are you gonna be totally fine with the HD or the Hizashi? Yeah. They're banger blades for 150 bucks. But if you've got the money and you just want to experience a little bit better quality of a knife, then the SG2 makes sense. Okay, that's subjective because it's my experience and my opinion based off of using these knives, but that's that. I'm not trying to sell you one over the other. Do you and do what works for your budget. But if you've got the budget, and you are really into knives where you can notice that 0.3 millimeter difference, it's cool. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is just show you a couple of the other types of knives. Remember, focus on the blade profile. So if I show you this Nakiri in the Hizashi, you can get that same thing in the HD and the SG2, but remember, not everything in the HD is in the SG2 and not everything in either of those is in the Hizashi. You'll have to look at the website to see, but okay, I'm just gonna show you a couple different blades here. Again, this was the 8-inch chef's knife of each that I showed you. So let's go to the 9.4-inch chef's knife. You need a little bit of a different angle here. Beautiful, that moved around a little bit. 9.4 inches, hold on. Yeah, I don't know why it's 9.4. It's like 9.25, but 9.4, I guess, translates to whatever the millimeter conversion would be for Japanese knives, which I'm from New Jersey and I don't know those things. Okay, next up is going to be the Kiritsuke. I've used and abused this knife specifically, and this SG2 stainless steel core has held up very well. I haven't had any fractures, chipping, cracks, nothing like that. I scraped my board. I beat these things to see how much I can push them, and this has performed very well. So is the chef's knife, but I have a thing for K-tips, so this Kiritsuke is beautiful. Now let's look at the Hizashi Nakiri. The Nakiri, what's great about this is that the tip of the blade here has a really nice curvature. So if you are a fan of the European style rock chop where the tip of the blade stays on the cutting board and you go in this circular locomotive back and forth type of motion, I would not recommend getting the SG2. Stick to the VG10 stainless steel of the HD or the Hizashi, because SG2 at that 63 Rockwell, can it handle some rock chop? Yes, but if that's your primary cutting technique, then save your money and get yourself the HD or the Hizashi and get used to using a VG10 61 Rockwell core knife before you move up to the SG2 and get a more fragile blade. I know it's weird that it's harder, but it's actually more fragile. And also then you can justify spending the money because you have a little bit more experience with a good hardness Japanese steel core, the VG10. The Nakiri, great at the rock. This is the Bunka. This has a curvature that basically starts all the way back here. Can it rock? Absolutely. What allows this to rock better than other bunkas is the height at the heel. It's much taller than a lot of the other Japanese bunka knives that I have, and this just has a good flow to it. Also, because of the length coming in at 7 inches and that high heel, when you are doing a rock with this, the tip of the bunka isn't digging into the cutting board. So again, if you're a rock chopper, a great bunka to experience a bunka with compared to some of the others, because you'll actually be able to do your preferred cutting technique. But this also has a relatively straight edge profile like a lot of Japanese knives, so it's still fantastic for tap and push chopping. And with that tall heel, you have plenty of knuckle clearance as well. So there are 4 additional blade shapes in the HD and Hizashi lines. And again, all of these you can also get in the HD line. I'm going to show you the Ko-Bunka Trio. So we have the HD 5.5 inch. We call it the prep knife because a lot of people aren't familiar with what a Ko-Bunka, K-O, Ko-Bunka is. These are 3 of the most popular knives that we have in all of the exclusive lines at Cutlery and More. We have exclusive series with a bunch of different brands. But these 3, I don't know, they're cute. People love them. They're great everyday prep blades. Get a little extra angle at them here. They're great everyday prep blades. They've got a tall enough heel so your knuckles aren't banging into the cutting board. If you want to do a tap, a push, a rock chop, anything, you're good to go. You got plenty of clearance there. You've got the tip there if you need it. It's just, they're great little blades. And as you can see, you can get these in all of the series. Okay, another Hizashi here. This is the bread knife. I believe that is coming in at 9 inches. And let's show you again the sandwich knife. This definitely you can get it in the HD. I think you may be able to get it in the SG2. I'm not 100%. I know I had another one I gave away, but I think it was the HD. Anyway, moving on. This is the serrated utility in the HD. And let's show you the slicer. The slicer you can definitely get in all 3, coming at 9 inches with a K-tip, just cool. This serrated utility, I've never used it. I'm not personally a big fan of serrated blades, and I just prefer a regular utility. But if you are a huge sandwich lover and you don't want the scalloped edge sandwich knife, but you want something that you can just cut through your sourdough real quick, slice some taters, tomatoes, whatever you need to do with it. It is a cool knife. It's cool looking. It is a single bevel because it is a serrated. So this side is straight up and down, and then it's sharpened over here. So it's not something that's also going to be super easy to sharpen on your own. So this should not be your everyday prep knife. Otherwise, you're just going to destroy the teeth. It's single bevel. You have to take it to a sharpener, or you'll have to resharpen this and turn it into a regular utility. Deep breath. It's a cool knife to have, but I would not have this be my everyday utility / prep knife. It's a cool blade though. I don't know. I haven't used it. See, I'm trying to be real with you guys here. Okay, speaking of utility, this is the 6-inch utility. That is the SG2. You know, I'm going to save that. Well, I'm just going to show it to you. The Chinese cleaver. This is a beast of a blade. I have behind me here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I don't know, like 15 cleavers, and there's some more down there. I love Chinese cleavers. This one is awesome because you get the feel of that German Wüsthof type of Chinese cleaver, but you get the delicate blade and edge. I mean, this thing, as far as I'm concerned, is as close to a laser as, oh, turn it this way, there you go. It's pretty laser-esque. You can really do some fine chopping with this blade. It's got also a nice curvature to the entire blade. So it curves from the heel to the belly and the belly to the tip of the blade, whereas a lot of cleavers out there have a very straight edge profile or just a rounded little curve at the tip there. And the sashimi finish, so that will also help with food release. And in the sense of balance, you can see you got to kind of choke up a little bit. All of the handles of the Enso knives are weighted intentionally. I forget exactly how, but I know there's metal going down through there. It's not full tang, but it has a full tang type of vibe to it, which is why when Michael was putting these together with the axle, he was thinking, how can we kind of bridge the gap and introduce knives to the American market, the North American market? We only ship in the US right now. How can you introduce these knives to people who are used to heavier handled Wüsthof, Zwilling, things like that? And this was the hybrid. Just here's the nice balance. Just handle leaning. If I'm right here at the very top of the bolster, so if I come just into the bolster, you can see for the 8-inch chef's knife, I start to get that balance. For the 9.5 or 9 and whatever this was, you're just ahead of the bolster, like right there at the choil. So if having a knife that is more evenly balanced, of course, depending on the length, is a concern of yours, then you will certainly enjoy these knives. Even the K-tip slicer, very similar to the chef's where I'm on the bolster itself. So at the pinch grip with most of these, you're gonna have a little bit more of a handle leaning balance type of experience. And then if you come down a little bit more, then it'll be evenly balanced. Okay, back to the utility knife. I'm just gonna show you this whole lineup here. So we have the 6-inch utility. I believe that's a 5-inch petty. 4.5-inch paring, the curved boning knife, which is 6 inches, the regular boning knife, which is 6 inches, and then we have the steak knife. You can get most of these in all of the series. The curved boning knife you can get in Hizashi, the regular you can't. You can definitely get them all in the HD. This is the SG2 version of this. So yeah, you can get all these in SG2, all these in the HD, and most of these in the Hizashi. This flare out right here of the regular boning knife, and this has got a little bit of flex to it, just enough in case you need it. That is there to essentially give you a higher heel with that choil to protect your hands from slipping when you are trimming meats. The curved boning knife, if you're a brisket lover, I don't care which series you get or if it's a one-off type of thing, you don't even get anything more than. If you're a brisket lover, this curved 6-inch boning knife is phenomenal for trimming and breaking down brisket because that curvature and the thinness, a lot of curved boning knives are much wider at the heel. The thinness of that and the little tippy point there is excellent for just working on that real large, flatter piece of meat and then getting into those little nitty gritty pieces where the muscles meet and you're trying to get some of that fat out if you like getting that fat out. Okay, I am pretty sure that I covered all of the different types of knives that you can get within the 3 core Enso series. Again, we have the Enso HD VG10 stainless steel core with 37 layers of Damascus cladding and a sashimi finish. The Hizashi has the blonde Packawood handle with the same blade. And then we go into the SG2 series. For the chef's knife alone, it's double the price. But as I said, something about the little extra thickness and the way the geometry is coming down on this blade, it's going from hell yeah, this is a badass blade to bleep, bleep, probably can't say it on this channel. This is freaking awesome. Awesome. Hopefully that translates over to some of y'all knife nerds out there. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Chef Brandon with Cutlery and More. Today you got a history lesson. You know more about Cutlery and More than probably a lot of the people that actually even work there. And then you got to see 3 of the Enso lines. Remember, 1920s and 1930s, they're the 2 time frames that go into this brand. So as I said in the beginning, I know you see these random Japanese brands that pop up on Amazon. Half of them aren't even from Japan. And then a lot of them that are brand new and they're probably not even going to be around in a few years because they're white labels. Someone threw some money around. They're like, let's see if this will hit. Not the case usually. These are going to be around for a while. I know it. Ooh, I've got one. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I've got this in my pile of, there it is. Okay. So this is, I might get in trouble for showing you this, but I'm going to. Actually, no, I'm not going to get in trouble. It's just a cool little piece of Enso. So this is the Enso HD, and this is the Enso HD that is 10 years old. This is one of the originals that became a practice knife for someone who was knife sharpening at the office. And they ground this thing down to the point where it almost looks like a slicer. I mean, the height is shriveled up, even the length is quite a bit different. It's pretty cool to see though that they were just, I mean, when I say practicing their sharpening, they were going to town on this when they didn't need to. They were just practicing reshaping edges and they were using this as the beater knife. And, you know, it's still got a decent edge to it. I would actually like to sharpen this myself just for fun and see if I can even change that geometry a bit. See, it's just going to be the passed down knife of sharpening experiments. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.